You're listening to the Laura the Library Lady podcast, presented by the Massillon Public Library.
Hi, it's Laura the Library Lady coming to you from our studio in the basement of the Duncan House at the Massillon Public Library, and we're here with Hope Bolinger, local author today. Hope, can you tell us a little bit about your background and where you're from?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Hope Bolinger, as introduced, and I'm a number of things. I'm an author, so I have 26 books that are out or under contract. I work as an acquisitions editor at a publishing house, and also I do editing work for them too. So basically anything having to do with books, I absolutely love it. And I'm from Stowe area, so about 40 minutes away, real close, and I'm really excited to be here.
Well, thank you. How did you get started in writing?
It's a funny story because I didn't know if I could do it at first. I just always assumed that you just couldn't do much with writing. So I always assumed I was supposed to be a teacher. And then I realized I couldn't teach. So that was out the window.
That would be a problem, I suppose.
And I ran into a friend in high school. And I thought this friend was crazy because this friend would just sit down and write 300 pages at one time. My friend would write books. And so in the spirit of friendly friendship competition and the fact that we needed to talk about something other than the TV shows that we were watching at the time, I decided to give it a go. I got bit by the bug, couldn't stop writing, learned really quickly in high school that the world of publishing has a lot of rejection, and decided I wanted to learn everything I could about the industry so I could sneak myself in, and then I could sneak other people in after the fact.
That's a great idea. I like how you phrase that, sneak people into to being published.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of your books?
Yeah, absolutely. So I tend to write in three main categories amongst those 26 books. I have stuff for middle schoolers, so middle grade. I have stuff for teens, so young adult. And then I have some sweet Hallmark romances for adults as well. So those are kind of the three main categories that I have. I have some stuff that's contemporary, some stuff that's sci-fi fantasy, a little bit of everything. So I guess that kind of summarizes some of the stuff that I have written so far.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned sweet romance. Is that a genre in itself?
It is. So just basically think Hallmark. So think, you're going to have usually a kiss at the end. You're going to have, it's more about the emotional connection between the characters. You're going to explore that a lot more. And then it's going to have your classic tropes, anything from friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, all that stuff that we love. And of course, that happy ending too.
That's always good. The happy ending is good. I love Hallmark, and Lifetime movies and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. Is there really a Lifetime for men? I heard that.
I don't know. I need to investigate that a little bit more. All I know is that I love binging it during, especially the holiday season. I just love putting on a number of those movies and just watching it because you're just, it's going to have a happy ending, but you want to know how it gets to that happy ending, I think.
Have you written anything based around a holiday?
I have. So some of the sweet romances I've done, I did 4 of them with a co-author, and actually each one of those was based on a season. So we definitely have one that's in the winter, kind of Christmas season, but we have ones that are also in spring, summer, and fall. So
that is a great idea with the seasons. I love it. Well, have you ever modeled a character after yourself or someone else? And is that kind of therapeutic in any way, cathartic?
So in terms of, I don't think I've ever made a self-insert character, but I think every single author, if they're being honest with themselves, probably puts pieces of themselves into every single one of the characters that they have written. I have a theater background, so a lot of times whenever I'm on stage, I try to think about where I can relate to a character and where I am different from a character. And the same kind of happens in writing. Whenever you're developing an idea, you try to think, okay, where do we intersect and where are we different? In terms of someone else in my life, there's been a few villains in books that may be based on a few people. They never seem to catch it though. So, but in terms of that, I don't think I've ever modeled someone strictly based on people I've known, but I'm sure people have influenced me too, to kind of sneak themselves into books without me noticing.
I love it. Well, what do the words writer's block mean to you?
Yeah, so writer's block is very much a thing. I know some people say it's not. It's oftentimes when the well dries up, or I deal with like mental health stuff. So sometimes it's when depression is particularly strong. It can happen. And I often have a lot of tips for people to overcome it, just because I'm a deadline writer now, where publisher gives me a deadline and I have to meet it. So there's a lot of different things I suggest people do. One of my favorites is to actually just go out and walk in nature. That is some of the best idea generators that are out there. And especially with some of the nice weather we've been experiencing lately, it's the perfect time to go out there and help to refresh those ideas and give yourself a little bit of headspace to be able to jump back into that Microsoft Word document.
That's a great idea. Do you also find that, maybe talking to other writers helps, or are you in any writers groups or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. The writer community is just so important and so supportive of one another, too. I don't think I would have gotten nearly this far without having the writer community. So there's a number of different kind of communities I'm part of, anything from group chats of various writers to different groups that are specifically genre-specific writers. So I know we were talking with someone at the library who is part of Realm Makers, which is a sci-fi fantasy type of group.
Because everyone's creating their own realm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's the general idea. I don't know who had created it, but I think that's probably the reason behind the name. But everyone in there is so supportive, and I think the beauty of the writing community is we just want to see each other succeed. We know how tough it can be sometimes, and we want to help each other to get there.
So if somebody's looking for a writing community, how would you suggest they go about finding one?
This is a really good question, and I think it entirely depends where you are and what genres you write. I know that there are tons of really great critique groups that often will meet, sometimes in libraries. So that is worth investigating what critique groups are in your state. There are tons of writer meetups. I know there's a number in Cleveland, Ohio, for instance, where writers gather maybe once a month and talk about what they're working on. Facebook's a great way to find genre-specific ones. And I kind of lucked out because I went to college for publishing. So I met quite a few writers through that. But sometimes taking certain classes, you can find other writers as well.
Those are good ideas, too. Would you mind sharing your publisher who publishes your works?
Yes, this is a great question. I've actually worked with 10 traditional publishers
wow.
at this point. So I can mention the most recent one who I've had a book come out with. They're Endgame Press, who I'm actually working with now as an editor, but they had taken on my book before they took me on as a full-time employee. So Endgame Press, they do a lot of different stuff, anything from fiction, nonfiction, children's. And so they've been really great to work with. But yes, sorry, there are like 10 of them, so I won't give you the whole laundry list, but it's been really cool to work with different publishers because every single person operates differently. So you're kind of able to learn different things from different people. And it's been really cool to work with all of them.
Can you mention, because I'm a children's librarian, can you mention what some of your middle grade books are about?
Yeah, so I have one that is out, and then I have 3 that are due to be out by 2025. And the one that is out is all about kindness and empathy. It's all about the importance of embracing that, and it's kind of got a Stranger Things kind of feel to it, a really quirky main character. I love her to death. She's great. Totally, she'll jump out at the page the minute that you're reading it. So that's what that one's about.
And what's the title of that one?
The Cassandra Curse. So it's really, really fun, really, really wacky. But if you're into that, definitely take a look. In terms of the other ones, I have one that kind of has a night at the museum sort of feel, basically a science museum that comes to life, kind of escape room style, and a number of middle schoolers have to science their way out of the museum. They have to use the scientific method to get out of the museum in time. So that one releases. I have one that is about, I have actually 2 that are actually kind of about grief, and one involves dragons, and one involves kind of a Tenet sort of idea where I'm playing with time dilation. So all of them kind of have a little bit of a speculative, wonky element to them. That's kind of my favorite part of writing middle grade, is being able to play with some of the world rules for sure.
Good, I love it. So what do the words writer's block mean to you?
So in terms of writer's block, and I know we had covered this a little bit earlier, I think, writing can be tough in a lot of different ways. Writing, sometimes the well does dry up, and sometimes, you can hit the ground running with certain books, and with other books, it just, you're taking things 500 words at a time. The one I'm actually currently writing, which is another sweet romance, has actually taken me quite a bit of effort to kind of get through versus the one that I wrote like a month ago, which I think we got through that one really, really fast. So sometimes certain books take more out of you. And so sometimes you have to take more breaks, have to refresh, and know that you kind of go at your own pace and that it's not necessarily a race.
That's good advice. Well, if folks want to purchase your books, how do they find you?
Yeah, so I would say the best place to find out about me and just all the books that are listed, since there are a lot of them, head to hopebolinger.com. That's BOLINGER. I think some family member removed the second L somewhere in our family history. And anywhere that your favorite book retailer online, you should be able to find the books as well.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you for joining us here in our basement studio of the Duncan House at the Massillon Public Library, and look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff, and I hope you enjoyed listening to the Laura the Library Lady podcast. Join us for the local author book fair on Saturday, November 11th, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This event is open to all and is held twice a year in both March and November. Browse, purchase books, meet, and network with local authors. Visit massillonlibrary.org for more information. Hope to see you there.